Will Jack Reacher Never Go Back get a follow-up? 2012 saw Tom Cruise star in Slash as Jack Reacher, a PG-13 action blockbuster following a former military police officer turned nomad who somehow always manages to find himself embroiled in dangerous conspiracies. This first film was successful enough that it warranted a sequel, Jack Reacher Never Go Back. Unfortunately, despite being a financial hit, critics were divided. The money made from the film should have been enough to warrant another sequel. However, reports surfaced that any attempts to make what would have been a hard R-rated follow-up had stalled, leaving a continuation of the franchise up in the air. So, will there be another Jack Reacher movie? What happened to the Jack Reacher Never Go Back follow-up? Although Lee Child respected Cruise's acting and dedication to playing Reacher, he was never a fan of the superstar's casting, citing his physical stature as a reason. In the books, Reacher is in his mid-30s and is an imposing 6'5" and 250 pounds. Cruise is only 5'7" and in his late 50s. Reacher is a presence that turns heads whenever he walks into a room, and Cruise simply didn't match up. Ultimately, Child decided to exercise a clause in his contract that allowed him to discontinue the franchise after just 2 films. According to IndieWire, he commented on the matter in 2018, saying, "Cruise, for all his talent, didn't have that physicality. I really enjoyed working with him. He's a really nice guy. We had a lot of fun." But ultimately, the readers are right. The size of Reacher is really important, and it's a big component of who he is. The idea is that when he walks into a room, everyone is just a little nervous for that first minute. The Jack Reacher novels have a rabid fan base, and many were understandably unenthused with Cruise's portrayal as the titular character. So, the A-listers run has reached its end. The R-rated sequel that Cruise and Jack Reacher 2012 director Christopher McQuarrie were trying to make would have stuck more closely to the hard-hitting source material, but it's a project that wasn't meant to be. The duo hasn't given up hope, though, as there are still desires for the action star to feature in an R-rated action film that would see him presented in a way never seen before. In an interview with Empire, McQuarrie has even hinted at 2 such projects with implications to show Cruise in a more villainous role, more akin to his role as Vincent in Michael Mann's Collateral. McQuarrie has cited films such as Deadpool and Joker as inspiration for these projects. Could the duo be working on a superhero film of sorts? We will see the hard-hitting Wanderer again, but this time on a smaller screen. Lee Child's beloved book series has been rebooted as a TV series on Amazon Prime, simply titled Reacher, starring Alan Ritchson, Titans, Smallville. The actor meets most of the physical requirements, being 6'4" and in his late 30s, and fans of the series will be pleased to know that the show will follow the source material closely. Being on Amazon, who made the incredibly graphic The Boys, the showrunners will more than likely have a lot of range as far as how dark they can get. Each season will cover a book from the series, with the first being based on Reacher's debut novel, Killing Floor. In synopsis, while passing through the small Georgia town of Margrave, Reacher is arrested and charged for a murder he didn't commit and must use his investigative skills to prove his innocence while also dealing with his past and a shady counterfeiting ring. The showrunners could also take elements from 3 prequel novels, Night School, The Affair, and The Enemy, to provide insight into the character's life before arriving in Margrave, as well as finding ways to keep longtime fans guessing. When Jack Reacher Never Go Back hit theaters in 2016, fans of Lee Child's beloved action hero were eager to see Tom Cruise return as the larger-than-life, no-nonsense former military police officer. With a global box office total of $162 million, the film performed well enough, but it didn't quite reach the heights many had hoped for in terms of critical reception or box office domination. Cruise's portrayal of the titular character, while packed with action, charisma, and star power, divided fans and critics. As of now, years later, many are left wondering, will Jack Reacher Never Go Back get a follow-up, or has the Reacher film franchise hit its end? To answer this question, we need to look at several factors: the reception of Never Go Back, the changing landscape of adaptations, and the shift in medium from film to television that has dramatically altered the future of the Jack Reacher franchise. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back reception. The second Jack Reacher movie was adapted from the 18th book in Lee Child's long-running series, Never Go Back. The story follows Reacher as he returns to his former military unit, only to find himself embroiled in a conspiracy. Along the way, he partners with Major Susan Turner, played by Cobie Smulders, as they attempt to clear their names while avoiding assassination and uncovering a web of corruption. While the film had all the right ingredients for an action-packed thriller, it received mixed reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds a 37% critic score, with some praising the fast-paced action sequences, but criticizing the lack of character depth and the generic feel of the plot. Tom Cruise's portrayal of Reacher was once again under scrutiny, not for his acting abilities, but because of his physicality. Fans of the novels were quick to point out that Cruise's stature, standing at 5'7", was a far cry from the towering, imposing figure of Reacher as described in the books. This disparity in appearance may seem like a minor issue, but for die-hard Reacher fans, it was a significant stumbling block. Reacher is described as being 6'5" and 250 pounds, a massive, almost intimidating presence. Despite Cruise's obvious acting chops and ability to deliver intense fight scenes, he simply didn't match the Reacher from the novels, which led to some discontent. The changing landscape of adaptations, one of the most significant factors impacting the possibility of a follow-up to Never Go Back, is the evolving nature of how book series are adapted. In the past decade, there has been a noticeable shift from films to long-form television series as the preferred method of adapting popular book franchises. The rise of streaming services like Amazon Prime, Netflix, and HBO Max has allowed for deeper, more nuanced adaptations that are able to dive into the intricate world building and character development that is often required to do justice to beloved book series. Lee Child's Jack Reacher series is vast, with over 25 books featuring the character, each offering a self-contained adventure while maintaining a larger narrative arc across the series. The episodic nature of television allows for more faithful adaptations of these kinds of book series. This trend has already been seen in franchises like The Witcher, Game of Thrones, and The Expanse, which all found great success as multi-season television series rather than as standalone films. This leads us to the most significant development for the Jack Reacher franchise, the Amazon Prime series that debuted in 2022, titled Reacher. Starring Alan Ritchson as the title character, this series was a huge hit with fans, in large part because Ritchson embodies the physicality and presence of Reacher far more than Tom Cruise ever did. Standing at 6'2", and with a muscular build, Ritchson matches the towering, intimidating force that fans of the books had longed for. Additionally, the series allows for a much more faithful adaptation of Lee Child's novels, with the first season covering the events of Killing Floor, the first book in the series. What does this mean for Never Go Back? With the success of the Reacher TV series, it seems unlikely that we will see a direct follow-up to Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, in the form of another Tom Cruise-led film. The Amazon series has clearly taken the reins of the franchise, and with its critical and commercial success, it is the most likely vehicle through which future Reacher stories will be told. In fact, Amazon has already renewed the series for a second season, and fans can expect more adaptations of Lee Child's novels, including possibly Never Go Back down the road, with Alan Ritchson in the lead. While Tom Cruise's tenure as Jack Reacher may have come to an end, the character himself is thriving in this new format. The success of Reacher on Amazon Prime signals a new era for the franchise, one that is more in line with fans' expectations